We don't accept jokes from
How
you.
dare you?
It's been a long week.
Next week has been super long. Yeah, next week has been super long. This week has been super long.
It's Monday.
Let me explain my day in as most concise a phrase as possible. At about 7:30 this morning, possibly 6:45, enough stuff had happened that I thought maybe I should call off the game tonight.
Wow.
And that was at 6:45 this morning. I had hit my quota for swearing, and I was not slowing down.
Exciting times.
It was a day. It was a whole day before I even got coffee. All right. When we last left our crew, everyone was eyeing their character sheets and saying, "No, I think we should go for assault because I have a level in scrap. A single level in scrap. Or 2 levels if you're monster. 2? We'll say 2.
Two and some abilities to go with, but
and some abilities to go
he's
with.
okay.
He's okay. He's just fine. Totally.
Monster will avenge all your death.
I actually also have 2 in scrap, so
How?
fight me, monster.
Really? The doctor has a 2 in scrap. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. Records are 337.
Yes.
So
You spent some training with Monster?
he just gets in a lot of trouble. Okay, so they are. Are you guys still like crew level 0? Is that right? Or 1?
That is correct.
It is 0. Okay. Duly noted. All right. So we were looking at the mission, such as it was a weird faction within the Wreckers, sub-faction of militant folks within the Wreckers had laid hands on Kei and Kei's dear close personal friend, Crazy Frim. Crazy Frim? I get that right?
Yes.
Crazy Frim. And after a series of rolls that would have earned Margie a tremendous amount of XP in some other game system, but did nothing for him here, found himself carted away, which left us with the mission. And you'll see the countdown clock over there next to Crazy Frim on the map. Rescue Kei and Crazy Frim. Although the and Crazy Frim thing might be something that y'all aren't necessarily aware of at this time. So, there we go, engagement roll. We were looking at how to approach this problem when we sort of signed off for the last session a couple weeks ago. The job, as it were. And I believe folks were quite enthusiastic. Yeah, the solution to this particular problem was going to be solved with guns. Because knowing is half the battle, and the other half is bullets. And the detail. So these guys were the group in question. Is a sort of sub-faction, sort of colloquially known as within the Wreckers, called the Starbreakers. They tend to recruit from what's the phrase for the guys that kind of work docks other than dock workers?
Longshoremen.
Longshoremen. So that kind of
Stevedores.
yes, the kind of folks who like tend to work docks and that kind of thing, but not in a shipment capacity. They tend to recruit from there, so as a result, their sort of centers of influence tend to be down in that area. So odds are pretty good that that's where they're at. And the question posed to you for going with assault was simply the point of attack, and it kind of sounded like, and I may be wrong about this, but it kind of sounded like the point of assault was simply going to be the front door. Like it was going to be, we're going full out, straight up the middle, dun da 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 thing. Is that accurate?
I'm pretty okay with that.
I asked the group.
I don't know that I know that we had kind of decided on assault, but I don't know that we had gotten any deeper into the weeds than that.
Yeah,
or that for that purpose, for that matter, we need to. But
well, no, I mean the assault itself requires that one detail be set out, and that detail is specifically the point of assault, like the point of the attack, like where are you going to attack? So that is quite literally the one thing y'all have to figure out ahead of time.
Not me.
Not Kei specifically, because Kei has another thing. Actually, Kei has kind of I have a interesting.
I'm sorry, where have we determined that these folks are, or do we do that as part of kind of making this?
This is
There was a communicator that was left open.
It wasn't really communicated. They're down somewhere in the dock area, probably, okay. And it can be sussed out with flashbacks if you feel like using a consort, probably a consort, right, to learn such things, or a study, something along those lines. If you want to,
the docking authority. Okay, yeah, I have that written down.
Yeah, the docking authority. That's kind of where they're out of. So, it's a bit of you guys up. It's mostly to help me frame stuff up. So it's like we're going to go to their base of operations, which is a large, warehouse storage area that isn't being used as a warehouse anymore. Or we're going to hit their favorite brothel / bar / weapons emporium. Or we're hitting the offices of the docking authority. Or I don't care. I just need to know.
I really like the idea of, like, driving a forklift through the front door of the main offices of the docking authority.
That seems like a great plan.
That just has a certain visceral appeal to me.
So forklift through the front doors of the docking authority.
A space forklift, so it has to be like on anti-grabs.
Hover forklift.
A hover forklift, yes.
Oh my god. Okay. When you choose yes.
I was just gonna say, Dave, do you just want to commit vehicular homicide?
I'm not so picky.
Because
does not have to be vehicular.
I mean,
I like that. That's your sticking point. Not the vehicular part's the sticking point, not the homicide. I mean, homicide is so specific in a galaxy like this. I mean, really, does it have to be? Yes, the main reason to answer the question is give the GM a jumping off point for your plan. There you go. The detail is also an opportunity to bring in your contacts. Could your friends give you a good route for access or certain stuff? Things like that.
I feel like our friend Takawa, the dockmaster on the Dreadnought.
Yes. You think so? Since that is in fact who they are. So you have a contact named who is the dockmaster here. So that, I mean, in what way, please somebody speak up, are they giving you info? We're just going to fill that in the back on the back end. Aside from acquiring for you a hover forklift. Just because Monster gave her puppy dog eyes and she didn't know what to do with that.
Is so big and can pick up so much. Is there a way to turn off speed regulator on this?
I promise I will get you one if you promise to stop looking like that with the big eyes. It's creepy. And the other thing that's important to know, after the plan and the detail are in place, is each player chooses their character's load. This indicates how much stuff they're carrying on the operation. They don't have to select individual items, just the maximum amount they'll have access to during the action. Armor is also refreshed. Uncheck any armor boxes that are marked. So, for example, I'll use monster as an example. Let's say, for the sake of argument, the monster decides to go with a heavy load, which I will note he has already checked.
I think it's still left over from last time,
but
fine. That's
fine. And the little italicized stuff is stuff that sort of comes along with you anyway. So fine martial arts style, sure. Anything like that. So basically what it means is you get to check 6 things, and until those 6 things are checked off, you've still got room in your load. So if you can say, well, my armor takes the blow. We hadn't talked about armor up to that point, but there's no reason that you wouldn't have, talked about armor. Or wouldn't have armor, rather. So, is that all clear as mud?
Yeah.
Okay. So please, all of you, up to and including Kei, although Kei, I would say probably your load is going to be light, given your circumstances. With everybody else, just choose the load that best suits you, or suits your fancy. So we know what's going on there as you load for bear. Each ship comes with the gambit total, which we already know is going to be a 3, so the gambits are going to be reset on the ship, which I think they probably already are. But if not, we'll go in there and look. Where is the gambits? Where are they? Oh, there they are. We'll get them back up to 3. So we have 3 gambits to spend. And we deal with our engagement roll. Once the players choose a plan and provide its detail, the GM cuts to the action, describing the scene, blah, 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 blah.
Does that include the gamut I generated? My head bashed in?
Yes.
Because I get
Yeah, it's
Well-
right. You got, yeah. That's an interesting question. But
is that a personal gambit?
because you got one. Normally you wouldn't, yeah, because normally there was, yeah, what the heck? I'll put it in the 4. Because there was one sitting there because you had, as you noted, the gambit. Although it was sort of at the beginning of but whatever, the beginning of the mission. We'll just call it good. Call it the beginning of the mission.
Oh no, it was the one at the end of the mission when the docking authority smacked me.
Right. Sort
So-
of in the non-mission area, but since
Gotcha.
it's technically it resets, but you just got smacked in the head. I think it's probably close enough.
Didn't have a chance to spend it.
You didn't have a chance to spend it, exactly. All right, so the engagement roll is a fortune roll. So it starts with just a 1d6 for just luck. Modify the dice pool for major advantages and disadvantages. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll add a dice for that. Is it overly complex? No. Whatever the opposite of that is, that's what this is. So we're up to 2. Does the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? No. Is the target strongest against this approach?
They have big glass doors in front of building. That is where they are weakest.
I mean, we're not talking about structural integrity. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? I'm afraid to say that they are actually reinforced against assault in their home base. So that takes us back down a die. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Take a dice. So that's an extra dice. That gets it back up to 2. Don't think of it as their reinforcements taking a dice away. Think of it as your brave, ballsy, I'm going to call it stupid assault, counteracting the penalty from them being so heavily reinforced in that area. Anyway, if your friends can help, Are there any other elements that you want to consider? I don't think so.
Is my deadly friend Blaster something that will that can assist me in this to add a dice to the overall?
I mean, he is one of your friends. Is it one of your friends? Yeah, he is one of your friends.
A deadly friend.
I mean, yes, sure. I'm gonna say yes because
Which means I do have to take checkbox for having.
You have to.
Yes.
Is it Krieger? Krieger the Blaster?
Krieger. Yes.
Don't worry, I'm bringing Krieger. Don't worry, it'll be fine. How can you say that? I'm bringing Krieger. Oh, fantastic! And what the audience does not realize is that mechanically actually makes a difference. Okay, so that is, I think, you guys rolling 3 dice on the engagement roll, and then we will see what we see. And I am going to say, okay, I got to make sure I'm getting. I want to read this correctly. I think this is assuming a little bit. The engagement roll assumes the PCs are approaching the target as intelligently as they can. Really? Does it assume that? Because I'm not sure it should.
Are you assuming that we're not intelligent?
I mean, approaching as intelligently as they can. No, well, we don't. Excuse me. We don't need to. Go ahead.
2 pips in Doctor resents that.
Yeah. We don't need to play out probing maneuvers, special precautions, or other ponderous non-action. The engagement roll covers everything. In the action, base the first obstacle. So, Monster is piloting the hover lorry, forklift lorry, with like big Joey stencil on the side. Who is riding?
Who's inside the crates in front of the forklift?
Who's riding shotgun? Who's riding pillion? Who's waiting for the thing to crash through the wall and then storming in afterwards on foot because they want no part of being on this thing while he drives it.
Or you could let me drive and you shoot from the side.
That might also make more sense just from a mechanical, like just from a.
Is sounding fun either way.
Yes. So we've got Drifter driving and Monster leaning forward out of the crash cage like a dog in the wind on the in the window of a car.
Riding on the front like a
with
like ornament.
With Krieger raised above his head.
I was gonna say, I was thinking like doing it on the running boards, but then the whole forklift kind of leans to one side, and that ruins the effect.
Monster on one side, everyone else on the other side. Armin, where are you in this? Are you on this thing? Are you waiting for the crash and then tiptoeing in afterwards? What's your plan?
Or delightfully off scene.
Doc, Sun.
I'll be on the cart as well.
Front, back, side. Using Monster for cover.
The opposite side from Monster.
The opposite.
Everyone will aim at Monster.
That seems fair. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Kei. You. Now I know you said you didn't want to roll this game, but tough.
When do I get what I want?
No. So the thing that I'm actually, this is more of a proposal than a quest for rolling or anything like that. There's 2 kind of ways this could go, because you've been brought in here, and by a a lieutenant with initiative. Okay, personal initiative. Not necessarily the boss. And things have been said that while you were being carted in here, amongst the people that the lieutenant was, we'll call him Markov. Lieutenant, this guy amongst the Starbreakers, and amongst the people that were sort of at his behest, that indicate possibly, or at least indicate that there's something more than just randomly grabbing a. Strangely enough, it's not typical for docking authority workers, even criminal ones, to randomly assault and kidnap archaeologists.
The danger in my profession does not usually involve dockside violence, unless you're trying to smuggle something out. In which case, well.
As a general
goes with
rule,
the territory.
you don't need to. You don't often need to concern yourself with being shanghaied. So some comments that they made indicate the direction in which one might investigate.
Assume.
Well, the direction in which one might investigate to find out what their motives are. Okay, so your option is, when you're doing stuff, is to you can tick your own rescue K clock with stuff that you're doing, because they basically, what's happened is they've stored you in a weirdly, perhaps not weirdly, heavily reinforced or easily secured, like back office kind of storage closet kind of thing, or just I will put you in a back office. There's like a desk and a chair and not much else. Until the boss gets here, and you can work towards, I'm getting out of here, in which case you're just going to tick the clock that everybody else is tickling. Or you can say, I'm sure they'll be along. I want to find out what their deal is and pursue a different clock, a different goal, which would be getting to the bottom of whatever, why ever they're decided to grab you in the first place. So my proposition, or I guess that's not even the proposition, the option I'm presenting here is for you to decide which one you want to work toward.
One quick question.
Yeah.
In what I've heard so far, am I under the impression that this is kind of the breakers as a whole, or a subset within it?
I'm going to say, without worrying about roles or anything like that, that this is, I mean, you guys are at least somewhat, you're known to the breakers, or the wreckers, and the wreckers are somewhat known to you. So the fact that there are factions in amongst them is probably a known thing to you guys. The breakers are definitely known as the sort of more militant, violent. I mean, the wreckers, could by some lights be considered to be somewhat benign as far as criminals go, because really they're just trying to aggressively salvage. Now, granted, they tend to try to start fights to create salvage between two other groups that aren't them, and then get that salvage. But their main goal is sort of have this dreadnought and get it fully functional. To what purpose may simply be, we want a place of our own. Dreadnoughts are huge. It'd be like having your own mobile space station. Note, huge still fits through a Stargate. Anyway, because the gates are enormous. Anyway, so you could conceivably
B is to be as B is to C.
Yeah, you could conceivably, think of the wreckers as being fairly benign, in that they're mostly just trying to, that's their main goal, is just, we want to build this thing, and if everybody just left us alone, that's what we would do. Now maybe they have some nefarious goal after that, But as far as that goes, it's really not that big a deal. And to that end, they're not the biggest movers and shakers out there. You know, they're not incredibly powerful. They're hackers, they're tricksters, or that kind of thing. Starbreakers, if they were the ones calling the shots, you're pretty sure that the first thing that the dreadnought would, the priorities on fixing the dreadnought would focus on the guns. Like there would be, because this is the kind of ship that can do orbital bombardment. And they might have some people that they would like to use that on. So they're definitely a more militant, angry,
Have a different initiative.
we don't want just what we've built ourselves. We want the things that have been taken from us.
For young men.
Yeah. Angry young men and the cynical older men who have, steered them in a particular direction. So definitely that. Anyway, so yeah, you'd at least, especially once you got headed anywhere near the docks, you'd probably figure out pretty quickly that this is the Starbreakers as opposed to the Wreckers as a whole. Now you're not so very incredibly popular with the Wreckers. You're on good you're on good terms with the Wreckers, but you're not like so very popular with the Wreckers that you can really use that as leverage, saying you don't want to make them
Yeah, no, that wasn't my intent was
right.
was
No, yeah,
mostly to determine whether or not I want to
so
start a second clock or not.
Yeah, the option is out there to figure out like what prompted the Starbreakers to decide that you were a good get for what because you're not. It's got to be something with them, not the Wreckers as a whole, because you're already working.
But the question is it me or is it Crazy Frim?
Well, we grabbed both of you, so it is a question, and that kind of question is the question that gets answered with the clock. It still involves you like breaking out of a room, but instead of like immediately heading for the nearest exit, it's you going, okay, now that I'm out, let me get to the nearest terminal or eavesdrop on some conversations or whatever.
Okay.
So that's what it tends to look like. Up to you. Let me know. What do you think?
I will say a second clock.
Okay.
With the option of jumping ship to the first clock.
Yeah, forget this.
The opportunity urgency presents itself.
All right.
You can leave clocks unfinished, right?
Sure. Yeah,
come back to
I'm
them
not working
3
on this.
seasons later.
I'm not working on this clock right now. We're gonna layer that one up to the token layer. And
By the way, we can't see the tail on that clock or the other one that you placed.
really? Oh, that's so annoying. All right, well, I'm going to leave that one over here. And all players? Sure. How about now for the one that I just added?
Yes.
In that case, that should get Rescue Kei and Crazy Frim online as well. Over here.
10 clock?
Yes. There's a lot going on.
Should that change my choice?
I mean, it's up to you, I guess. But all right. So back to the engagement roll, which I feel like in honor of Krieger, Dave should roll. So Dave,
You're on mute.
I was saying, oh dear.
On the fast,
but I was on mute.
Yeah, on the fast buck, there is a roll fortune button, sort of bottom rightish area, just above the playbook advancement. Just a box.
Bottom right areas.
Just underneath, like a lore. Yeah.
Oh, roll the roll fortune.
Roll
yes.
fortune. Yeah, roll that, and you have 2 bonus dice. Thanks to County and is it County? No.
So it says number of dice. So that's where I put 2. Does that ask for bonus dice?
Does it ask for bonus dice or is it just asking
No,
for dice?
it just says number of dice.
I think 3 then, because you got Takala and
I like that answer. Notes.
I don't think any notes are necessary. My goodness, that's some bad rolling. Good job.
I told you.
We started things off on a.
Ow.
All right.
That makes me look good. I at least had a 5 in there somewhere.
Engagement roll on a 1 to 3. That's a bad result. You're in a desperate position when the action starts. Okay. So the
Someone get injured and I can finally do my job.
no, somebody. I mean, odds are pretty good that someone's going to get injured. Okay, so the shot that we'd had here was, you know, the forklift, and we've got Doc. We've got Sun clinging on the left-hand side. We've got Monster clinging on the right. We've got a Drifter in the middle, and the thing's and it's coming straight at this thing, and coming up to these glass-paneled front doors. I'll absolutely keep that with Monster, and it and the forklift punches right through that glass, and right up to the like the front of the like where the I guess the stop. The lift area of the actual forks. The forks they kind of punch right through that glass, and the truck comes up to that glass, and the whole thing kind of gives a little bit, and then does not break. Like the fork punches straight through, but basically impales this glass, and then just kind of comes up and slams into this thing like it hit a well, an
unbreaking sheet of glass.
It gives, which is
glass.
It gives really far, but then it snaps back.
See?
And kind of throws Monster one direction and Doc the other. Drifter kind of goes over the steering wheel a little bit and is like almost laying on top of it as it kind of gets shunted back about a couple 2 or 3 meters. And there's this momentary like silence, broken only by the front panes of glass going whoop 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 whoop, and then the very distinctive click and whir of turrets or some sort of sentry something dropping down out of the ceiling, as the defenses of the place kind of drop into place. Hey Monster, what do you do? As you were kind of, I don't know if did you manage to hold on to this thing, or were you did you throw yourself or jump free, or did you the momentum could have carried you forward and you just sort of let go and ended up up against
run into the unbreakable pane of glass myself?
Well, you could be braced up against the unbreakable pane of glass. That's certainly an option.
Yeah, I think I will do that.
Do what? Oh, up against the glass.
I will let myself fly up against the glass. And if I'm hearing turrets beginning to pop down and whir into position, I will assume the glass is going to protect my back and try to shoot out whatever turrets are here outside us.
Okay.
While hopefully Drifter hits the lever on the forklift and uses that to break the glass.
Sure. Okay. So that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a scrap, for sure. Now, this is my problem because I went and looked at. I I went and looked at how the resistance and armor stuff works. So I'm going to throw this one at Mike for his system knowledge. Let's say I'm a muscle and I have this thing where I can double check like this heavy blaster thing. What good does that do me?
Positioning.
Positioning. So it's just a matter. It doesn't necessarily like go, oh, because of this and this other thing and all that kind of stuff. Right. Okay. So
This came up in the other game as well. The summary that I gave for them was it gives you permission to do the thing you're trying to do.
right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. I'm just want to make sure I'm not forgetting about because armor like lets you make like basically you check off armor and go I resist. Do you roll? No, I don't have to roll. I just resist. It automatically moves down and I don't take stress. I didn't know if it was something like that. And I wanted to make sure I was doing it right before we went on the thing. All right, so what does this look like? I mean, are you taking this stuff out with Krieger? Are you
Yeah.
Zarathustra, the detonator,
My detonator launcher.
Very nice. All right, so
That may still come into play, but not while I'm right up against the door.
yeah, that's fair. All right, so you already have Krieger out. The turrets are dropping down, and you are rolling scrap. Okay. I'm looking at the other stuff that you have. I mean, I don't think unstoppable necessarily. It's not going to matter in this particular event. Wrecking Crew might if you decide to spend a gambit on this. It would give you sort of an increased effect. So we are desperate. And
Yay!
we are desperate, and we are. I'd say standard effect because you're not trying to like. You're trying to take out turrets, so that's achievable. I don't think it's going to be limited effect. They are somewhat reinforced, but they're not impossibly reinforced. So desperate, standard. Although they are one step up from you in quality, so that actually moves them from standard down to limited because they're a level 1 group and you guys are a level 0 group. So that leaves you at desperate with limited effect.
I think I might want to go ahead and spend that gambit then.
Yeah.
So I can gain effect.
Yeah, that puts you back up to the standard thing. And the gambit still gives you a dice, so that has you rolling 3.
So this is considered. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. So when I spend a gambit, I also gain a dice. Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
spending a gambit gives you a dice. It also lets you because of your
right,
ability, it gives you this extra thing. So that pushes you back up. Other options for dice. Somebody could be assisting you with this. Sun, you could be taking out the turret, shooting at the turret on the other side, and with the simple application of a single stress, you just give an extra dice to monster to roll. If you're so inclined.
Promise we'll use it wisely.
If you're so inclined.
Sure.
Same can be said for Drifter, although you may be doing something where you're like breaking through the wall or something like that with the forklift.
Yeah, I got a different plan.
Okay, that's totally fine. So go
Good
ahead.
to add cover fire to monster for
Yeah, trying
a
to
die in distress.
Yeah. Okay, so you take a stress, so that gives you, I believe
Different
that's
from, a Coke and a friend, right?
a die and a stress. Have a die and a stress. So that gets you up to 4. That gets you up to 4 dice. Rolling for that. The other option would be pushing yourself. That would give you another dice. It would take you 2 stress, or a devil's bargain. The devil's bargain in this case would be alarms immediately sounding along the docks. That it's going to have the sort of the official authorities involved in this thing sooner rather than later, which is going to quite complicate things. going forward?
I'm inclined at this point to take my 4 dice and
Call it good.
call it good.
All right. So with your 4 dice, you are rolling desperate and standard for your result.
So scrap, desperate, standard.
1 sec. Just out of curiosity, I don't think this is actually true, but does his deadly friend help?
His fine blaster pistol.
I don't know. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Question mark?
Maybe. Do you think it does?
I mean, it is one of his deadly friends.
Seems legit to me.
Put another way, if Io was here firing and stuff like that, I'd give him an extra dice. I don't know though. It's so weird.
Is it that it's a friend or is it that it's a fine weapon?
No, I mean the fine weapon thing is fine. It just seems like I feel like somebody would have called out, "Hey, by the way, I mean, these guys are going to be amazing with this pistol, like all the time."
Like double
Well,
dipping.
that's why he's a muscle.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one because I don't think anybody else has an item as a friend, right?
Nope. It's a very muscly thing to have.
No, absolutely. And we don't normally end up with people like the ally. Well, though, I feel like usually the friends, just friends in general, usually help on downtime stuff and engagement roles. Do they typically come up in the middle of a job other than the engagement role?
As a friend or ally, this signature pistol can be used during downtime to threaten or intimidate.
Yeah, so it sounds like it doesn't help during.
I
the
think,
job.
yeah, I think that seems about right. And the engagement role, I have no problem with at all. So it's not on the mission. It's not providing an extra die like on the mission, but it certainly helps off the mission, downtime, or the engagement role leading up to the thing. So call that good. Thank God you had it for the 3 and those 2 2s. Because
Yes.
sarcasm. Anyway, all right. So you're rolling 4 dice. You're desperate.
Yep.
You're etc. Let's find
So
out.
I have the two, I have the 2 from the thing plus 2 bonus dice. Desperate, standard. Booyah!
Whoa. Okay then.
I think he did.
Wow, that makes up for a lot.
That really makes holy buckets of yikes. All righty. All right. So
As the turrets blow up, they actually take out the front pane of glass.
I mean,
Oh, hey, that's desperate too.
yeah, it's desperate.
I get a check.
You get a check. So that's both your dice giving you a 4 and a 6. The Gambit giving you a 6. Sun giving you a 6. So Monster, let's hear your. But actually, we'll Sun, what's your 6 look like that you're throwing in this, like this whole cover thing? Are you taking out turrets? Are you providing cover fire? How be awesome. Describe that.
I'm
Throwing accelerant into the mix.
God. Yeah, no, I use my pile of illicit drugs and dusting the entire warehouse. No, I'm providing cover fire, helping make sure that while Monster is standing up, making a big target of himself, he isn't getting hit, which would make my life more difficult.
Yeah.
Like your priorities.
That's brilliant.
Who knows? Maybe I'm also planting some drugs, so when the official authorities show up, the people look a bit less innocent.
So I mean, the Stitch by default does. I mean, their special items are not things like blasters and stuff like that. So how is this just a a nice
I'm a war
straightforward?
doctor. What are you talking
No,
about?
I get that, but like if you look at like the Stitch's sort of like tuned stuff, it's like fine medkit,
Oh, yeah.
fine clothing, stuff like that. Down below, there's a blaster. But I mean, what kind of, you say you're a war doctor? Is this like your basic space equivalent of the 9mm space pistol, or are you like two-fisting it? Like, what's this look like?
Uh,
Is it the precision? I think of Leia's like 22 caliber targeting pistol from A New Hope, with the long barrel and the precision weights on it and all this other kind of stuff, or is it just like I bought one that was about 300 credits. What it looked like a good one and it had a big clip, or is it if I'm going into this I'm bringing two?
no, I think it's a smaller handheld single one, since as a doctor, I'm not necessarily always going to be out on the front lines or want to obviously be carrying a weapon. So I think it's less noticeable, but I've been carrying it around with me for a while, and it's helped me get out of some tight places.
Yeah. So it's been used. It's seen some
Yeah,
use and stuff like that.
It's a bit older, so it tends to pull a little to the left, but I've had it for long enough that I know how to compensate for
So
that.
rather than fixing it, you compensate for it. I think that's funny. Are you more of a spray and pray kind of guy, or is this more of a precision, like a few precision shots?
Precision. Since it is a smaller weapon,
I'm thinking,
I don't necessarily have the ability to just lay down a large spray of cover fire.
I'm thinking of that guy from Ghost in the Shell, the one cop who uses a revolver when everybody else has like a not that this has to be a revolver, but just that the one cop with no modifications and uses a revolver.
Togusa, yeah.
Togusa, yeah. All right. All right, so that's that. But on the other side, Monster. Is it just first of all, what are you doing? And you were talking about the explosions having some unlooked for beneficial effects. So talk about that too.
He just fires 3 precise shots that hit each of the turrets that are popping down and opening up to deploy. And if I can drag some additional effect into it, then yeah, the turrets themselves exploding either weaken or shatter or otherwise do something to this barrier that's in front of us.
Okay. When you realize that they're gonna blow, how did you know that they were gonna blow? I mean, how did you know they had that weak spot?
It's a particular model.
It's it's the same.
It's a very distinctive wind-up noise.
It's the same kind of security turrets that the mining installations back on my homeworld had. So I know the sorts of noises they make. We just didn't have these kind of weapons available to us.
I see. Okay. But you figured, I mean, there was enough times that they would malfunction or that you got lucky.
Yeah.
Okay. So when the whining starts,
a big enough rock thrown hard enough can actually simulate a blaster in several significant ways.
so when it starts to go, what you like duck back behind the trolley, or what do you do?
Um, actually, if
It's much easier with the blaster.
Everyone out in the pool.
I'm actually thinking if they're going to somehow loosen this door frame, this doorway, then I'm
Mhm.
going to kind of brace myself and push back with that so that I can assist that effort to get this barrier out of the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, so you're basically just going to capitalize on the damage and um
Right. So my back is kind of up against this plexiglass barrier. I know that the explosion is going to kind of rattle the whole frame, so I'll brace and push back with my
okay, I
feet.
see. So you're looking for the frame to give out so that you
Sure.
can like enough that you can pop the whole thing. Cool. Um and yeah, the explosion is like cuz you're pushing on it enough that it bows again. It doesn't bow as much as obviously when the forklift hit it, but it does give some. So conveniently, when the explosion comes, you actually like it pops, and you're pushing hard enough that you kind of pop through as the explosion kind of goes past you. Now, so yeah, the glass, the reinforcement for the glass kind of pops, and that's enough to kind of tear at least two of the sheets free. Um, Drifter, with, I mean, I know you had planned something, but things have changed a little bit. You've now got at least one of the two glass panels that the forklift has sort of punched through is on the floor, and the other one's kind of. One second. Uh, anyway, sorry, I got distracted by my daughter's homework.
No, plans don't really work out for me anyway, so it's fine.
So like the one on the front left is sort of dangling. It's half in, half out, and kind of still halfway stuck on the fork. But you definitely have an opening, um, and a lovely like sort of atrium with swooping like spiral stairs up one side. Nice big broad spiral stairs, like an entry desk. Um, a couple of turnstiles that will let you back into the back part of the building, uh, down like a nice broad sort of open space. Uh, the way has been opened. What do you do?
I pull on the strap to make the horn go, and then charge for. Let's drive this thing through if we can.
Meep meep.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wow. All right. I think this is. I mean, it's pretty clearly a helm roll. So
Yeah, we're gonna make time.
you're gonna come barreling in through here. All right, so helm is 3. Any other things that you would like to do to acquire more dice?
Well, I just want to understand what's at stake here. Like, this is us getting past the outer security and making progress towards
Right.
where we think.
Yeah, the explosion is definitely gonna yeah, I mean basically with an assault like this, the idea is you're going to make enough of a wake that you can turn around and basically go back out through you know, the area that's been cleared by make enough of a furrow going in that it's relatively easy going out. So as many sort of checkpoints that you can steamroll, the easier it is going to be to walk back out of this place, or run back out of this place, I guess. So I
Sounds
get so it sounds like probably taking out. I mean, odds are they're not in the fancy part. If Kay's being held somewhere, it's not going to be in the fancy parts of the building. So in and deeper, and knock the security desk out of the way. Roll, steamroll the turnstiles if you can. That kind of stuff would probably be indicated. Risk in these kinds of situations, risk is probably going to be, blaster fire, potential damage, things of that nature. So.
Okay. I'm going to push myself, and I'm going to say we're going real fast. I have a thing that says you have potency on all speed-related rolls. Does this count?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And that'll work out okay because you're not desperate now. So potency. So your risky standard, because they are one stage higher than you in sort of their level, it ends up being risky limited, but that potency pushes you back up to that standard thing. So if you guys can keep pulling those maneuvers off that pushes your potency, it sort of counteracts the fact that they're playing on a different level than you.
So Joyce.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I just look at find items count as +1 bonus in quality, stacking with tier/crew quality. So a fine blaster would go up well against or evenly with the fine tech or the +1 tech that these guys have.
Oh, because it is actually a fine blaster.
Yes. So we don't need to change the result of the roll or anything because I'm more than happy with 3 6s. But I just for future effect, that's what.
Yeah, that would have been like a yeah. All right, duly noted. That'll be good to know for the next. So yeah, anytime you guys can like work off the thing, the fine, the potency, any of that kind of stuff to counteract the fact that these guys have a bit of a quality advantage over you guys. That works out really well. So you are working risky standard thanks to capitalizing on the speed. So, and you're pushing, so I think that gives you 4 dice.
Yeah, so there's the roll.
Oh, I didn't. Aha, there we go. Look at that. And that's a success. Very nice. I believe that moves the clock 3. Is that right? I believe it does. And I'm going to go with that because I'm sick to death of looking it up. All right.
What level of effect was it?
So, okay, the standard, and it was a full success, a 6.
So that's 2.
Is it 2? All right, that's fine.
Yeah, because limited is 1, standard is 2, great is 3.
And crit is...
Yeah, well, crit would move it up to the next level.
Oh, I did too many then.
Did you do monsters?
You know what? Yeah, I did monsters. Actually, you know what? We'll just say that way because the gun, which was undocumented in there, plus the crit and stuff like that, would actually just push up the level. So I'll stick with the 5. It's just rather than being a mistake, it was me unknowingly giving credit for the gun's fine quality.
Like it. There you go.
There we go. But that still gives us 2, which is awesome, and no consequences there. So there is shooting. There's guys at security thing, there's that moment as you're kind of looking kind of in over the steering mechanism and stuff, kind of in through the glass, and these guys behind the counter are just kind of looking at you like, are we serious? Like they're blankly like, the guys just
Who are these guys?
Forklift. Who the fuck are these guys?
Special delivery.
And then the turret comes down, and there's explosions, and suddenly the glass is down, and they're like, oh shit! So they're grabbing guns, scrambling under the desk for grabbing stuff. What happens, Drifter? What's this look like? What do you do to this desk? Because they're firing, if they even get any shots off, has no effect. So I can certainly.
I think we're just going to scoop up the desk and use it as expendable cover on the. You're describing this thing as a forklift, so we got some kind of like arms or some.
Yeah. So you just kind of get forward and get it up underneath the desk. So while they're like about to come up over it, the desk is going up and just being shoved right down the whole, like the center of this atrium and down.
Like the classic bar table maneuver.
Yeah,
much, yeah.
Except it's the whole. Yeah, that is spectacular. Okay.
And I imagine somebody's like, you can't see through this thing to drive, and Drifter's like, I don't need it. We're just going to drive through whatever. It's fine.
It's like it's open. It's open.
Where we're going, we don't need
stuff. Armin, I'm not going to have you roll, but I am going to have you tell us, please. So the explosions and the turrets and the thing and Monster throwing himself back through the glass and the thing and Doc plink plink pam 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 and the truck takes its second shot through the glass and goes in. You hear like, oh god, and the ripping and tearing of wood as this, nice big security desk comes out. And then Armin, what?
So since when the chaos all started, Armin was not on screen.
Right.
I would like to flashback for a moment.
Okay, please.
As before, as we were talking to our friend Takala to get
Takala, yes.
Yeah, to get this hover forklift. I was then like, hey, can you get me in touch with the leadership of the wreckers?
I mean, yeah, I've got contacts and stuff. I mean, I run the docks.
Because what Armin would like to do is to sell this not as the crew attacking some of the wreckers because of violence. No. This is an entertainment experience for you all. So I would like, as there's all this chaos and everything, I feel like there should be like a pan out to like a security camera view and like some cheering and hollering and maybe one of the wrecker guys being like, yeah, that weird alien dude definitely knows how to break some stuff, and so does your driver.
Very nice. Are you with them? Are you not even at the assault? You're sitting up there in like a freaking...
Yes, because that's the most Armin answer.
All right. In that case...
I've got luxury items, so I imagine Armin has like beer and other stuff for all these guys. Just like, while all this is going on, Armin is playing like oh geez,
doctor,
like host.
Yeah.
For all this.
Very nice.
Mostly because I don't want to take up that piss off the wreckers clock.
Oh, you don't want to take off the piss off the wreckers clock? Or you want
to tick it? I don't want to tick it up.
Oh, do you want to tick it down? Because you could probably do that with a sway roll.
That's
not a sway. Consort. Would it be consort? I think it's consort.
So
it's connections and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. How much stress would I take for this flashback?
I mean,
would this have been easy, or would this have been, a little difficult to set up?
I mean, no, I don't think so, because you guys are on good terms with the wreckers. You have a contact who is directly linked to them and is important enough, since she runs the docks, to have the kind of context you're talking about. And it's not atypical. This is the most Armin thing you could possibly do. So it's not like, you suddenly pulling out a hacking terminal that's, potency 3 with no asset acquisition or anything like that. I feel like it's correct me if I'm wrong, but if anybody disagrees, please speak up. But this feels like saying, oh, and I remember to bring a gun. or
in the Armin speak.
Yeah, it's like Kei saying, I have a minor pocket-sized, artifact on me that's it's basically like a weird like compass, kind of thing. And I'm like, sure, yeah, okay. It's not a no stress thing. Where's the flashback stuff? Let me look at it.
While you're looking that up, I'm going to make a suggestion.
Sure.
Well, not to you, to him. While you're at it, I'm assuming you're taking some good bets.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have to make some money from this mission somehow.
We might be having to give some of it back to your friend if the fight spreads out too far.
So Moss will consort with a friend to agree to arrive at the dice game ahead of time and suddenly spring out. Complex action or unlikely opportunity. Scoundrel skulked is. I'm gonna call it a complex action, so it'd be a stress.
Yeah, that feels right.
It's complex. There's a lot of moving parts there, but all the parts make sense going together. You're leveraging a lot of stuff that makes sense for your character. So yeah, let's call that a stress for the flashback.
Okay.
Setting this thing up, and then
I'm gonna push myself for a die.
okay, and that
And
gives you.
And then I'm gonna roll my consort.
Do it.
Guessing this is risky standard effect. Do my luxury items help in all of this?
So bear with me on this one.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would ever get this combination, but I guess I kind of do. I think it's controlled. The risk to you is relatively small, but I think the effect is limited because you've got a real mixed bag of stuff here. It's like, yeah, it's in game, but these are also wreckers. So it's kind of like this weird mixed bag of like, yeah, it's entertaining, but at the same time, it's like
they're wrecking our stuff.
You've got people in the background. You've got some people grumbling in the background about like, these are still our people. No, I'm not saying you're not justified. I'm just saying.
Oh no, this sounds fine.
The result is a bit of a mixed bag. So on the the upshot of it is, you're in a controlled situation. It's not going to go horribly awry for you, but the effect is going to be limited because of the fact that you've got people that are still grousing about it. They are a fairly powerful faction within the group. Stuff like that. Does that work?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's go with that then. So, controlled, limited.
So that's to standard effect.
Oh, nice. So standard is 2 pips?
2 pips.
2 pips on this little piss off the wreckers thing. And we will. Nice crit, by the way.
It was at a good time.
It was at a good time. I really love that. You guys are moving. I like all these dials that are and clocks that are being massaged at this point in time. All right, Kei. There's a ruckus nearby, and the ruckus seems to be monster shaped.
I was going to say, is it a very specific sounding ruckus?
I mean,
they have a very,
It does. It sounds as though Monster has gone through quite a lot of sessions without getting to like really cut loose, and he is finally doing that. But in any case, it's certainly your signal to do something. Whether it's call for a guard or just set about getting out of this place. Or whatever. You could be calling through the door going, "That's my friends. You're probably going to want to let me out of here so that you're on the good side so that you're on their good side when they show up." Oh, that scream sounded really painful. Or, you could be picking the lock or any number of other things. Pulling out a small pocket-sized hand. It could be a flashback to a little hand terminal that you plug into a port in the wall. I don't know. Whatever flips your skirt up.
Okay.
God, I haven't heard that phrase in a while. I don't know why I have heard that phrase.
So I'm looking for probably a sway, which kind of is
on like the whoever's got stationed outside the door to keep an eye on you, or are they inside the room like keeping a weapon on you?
Um,
I'm fine either way.
I'm thinking it's more. I might as well start inside and work my way out on this. So I think it's a way, and it's sort of along the lines of,
Well, I'm mostly
this is,
asking, are you swaying through the door, or are you swaying somebody who's right in here and kind of listening to all the ruckus?
is somebody still with me?
That
Right?
I mean, it could be somebody who's stationed just outside the door, or somebody who's stationed just inside the door to keep an eye on you directly. Like, keep an eye on them, kind of deal.
The got with somebody inside.
Either way, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
okay.
the inside,
Okay.
and the sway is gonna be something along the lines of.
I lost you. The sway is going to be along the lines of.
That's all I said.
Oh, okay.
That was a pause for thinking,
Oh, I
not
see.
losing my
I
mic. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go sort of along the lines of, really worth that because, that sound out there. And it's coming for me. I don't know that you really want to be here, collateral damage and all of that. Anything against you guys. They just don't like me going.
Stay back. Stay back. And he's kind of like, he's keeping an eye on you, but he definitely keeping a very attentive ear in the direction of all of this stuff. Like, no, they're going to be, we've got turrets. The whole front end of this building is reinforced.
Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
So does he expression when I say that I don't have anything against them?
I mean, as much as he's
personal, do I get a sense that this is personal?
Oh no, definitely not personal. They're doing this because the lieutenant said so, because the stuff the lieutenant knows. They're following orders, man. This is
their pay grade.
They are definitely, yeah. This is like, the boss says it was important, and he says my boss says it's important, and he says the grand boss is going to be that much happier with it, and I'm just following orders and keeping an eye on you until the boss shows up. And they're not being particular. Like I said, they put you in a room, but they're not like, they didn't tie you up. They are keeping a gun on you, but they're not like, aside from the fact that they assaulted you.
So conversationally, while all the noise is going on in the background, I was like, what about the crazy guy? What do you want with him? He can't be worth much.
No, I mean, well, he knows stuff about artifacts and stuff, and some of the stuff that he knows about is stuff that the boss is interested in, I guess. And I didn't think he would. I mean, I didn't think he would know anything about it. But
the front desk going up.
Yeah. So,
he's letting slip a little bit about Frim and maybe why I'm here, but mostly I'm working my sway towards
him like
really drawing attention to some sounds, but by keeping myself very, very calm and not looking like I'm like gonna jump him or anything like that.
Oh, they sound, man, that sounds like the front desk. I think they must have brought an entire I think they must have just driven a vehicle straight in. I wonder if they crashed the spaceship into the front end. That wouldn't be the first time we've crashed the spaceship, I tell you that.
Monster, what's the name of your gun?
Krieger.
I think that's Krieger.
Who's Krieger?
Thump, 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 thump. Oh, no. What is Krieger? That's Monster's gun.
Monster? You have somebody named Monster? And they named their gun? I mean, that's kind of cool, actually. But
I named my gun Vera.
I call her Vera. Okay, so sway is. Do you have sway? Look at your
I have
thing.
2 in sway.
You have a 2 in sway. Lovely. We have a sway of 2. I mean, the risk to this is that he's going to kind of double down on this thing and make your life more difficult by, like, get back on the other side of the room. You step back out of the room, like lock the door and just stay on the outside of it. That kind of stuff is that, the situation is going to get more difficult because he'll, actually just step out of the room and lock it down rather than keeping an eye on you in here. So that's probably the risk there.
I really push myself.
Push yourself. Well, yeah, you're stress.
No stress to push.
Yeah, no stress to push. Devil's bargain. He shouts for reinforcements, so there'll be more guys showing up.
That'd be amusing because it'd just be more people to be between monster and. I'm not worried about that dark bargain. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, devil's bargain. Okay, so that gives you 3 dice. You can spend a gambit, obviously, if you're so inclined. A little bit of luck on that one. That would get you up to.
I think I'm good.
Okay, so it's risky. I'd say risky standard. Because I mean he's just the one guy, and there's a lot of scary noise out there, so he's probably inclined to be persuaded. Now, are you swaying to get information or to get him out of here so you can have the run of the place?
Just waiting to get him out of here. I'm just
Okay.
taking advantage of the sway to see if I can pick up anything on the way.
Okay. In that case, I will ask. So Devil's Bargain.
Actually, no. You know what? That these guys can get me 3 more pips. I'm
What?
gonna sway for information.
You sway for information? Yeah, it's a good chance.
It's a way.
Okay, swaying for information from this guy. So that's. Are you spending a gambit? You've got your dice from Devil's Bargain. That gets you to 3. Spending a gambit will get you up to 4 dice.
No, I want to leave the gambit just in case they need it to save my ass.
Well, you still have 2 gambits left. There's still 2. I take that back. There's 3 on the table because.
Okay, I'll take a gambit then.
Yeah, monster used 1. There's still 3 sitting out there. There should be anyway. Yeah, I'll change that. Okay, so we'll take a gambit off for that. That gets you to 4. Now, if you feel like you're gonna like kind of put the fear of God in these guys with all the noise and everything like that, I will simply open the door. If this is sort of assist at range, if like Drifter, if you feel like throwing an extra dice by assisting from the stuff that you just did, like the Wilhelm screens and the sound of the tearing, furniture and stuff like that. I don't know that you have stress to burn or anything like that, but I'm leaving it open. Like you're not.
I'm sure the doc can support too in the same way.
I would be happy to throw some stress at that because I always have stress because my downtime is full of ice.
I know the doc can do it, but right now Drifter is being the noisiest, like most audible through the building kind of thing. So that gives you.
So is it best there to then use part of that to leverage the impact of it? Put us at 5 dice?
It gives you 5 dice. I don't.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the boys. They're the ones who have the stats in their head.
Well, I'm trying to remember.
Can't you use like
trade dice down to get better effect? I can't remember.
It's just position.
Okay, so you could go to controlled, but that's not going to impact the other. Okay, we'll just stay with risky and
risky standard.
Okay.
Unless you want desperate great.
Would love desperate great, but
Well, there's no reason not to go for desperate great. I mean,
we'll go for desperate great.
So
love it.
And you're spending gambit every time you roll a desperate action, mark XP, and you have a thing.
Get a gambit.
You get it. You
even spending a gambit.
Even spending a gambit, you generate a gambit for rolling desperate.
My gambit just goes back there if I do that.
Yeah. Downside is things will get. Are we doing
Oh, I know.
Are we doing the devil's bargain? Or are you gonna? So devil's bargain gets you 4 dice. It gets you 5 dice. Not you.
Let's go big or go home. Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what?
So the tally. You got 2 dice for sway. You've got 1 dice for the assist from Drifter tearing up the front of the building and this guy getting a little panicky. You've got a dice for the gambit. That's where you sit right there. That gives you 4 dice. If you want 5 dice, devil's bargain is he's going to shout for reinforcements and they're going to show up no matter what. If being desperate plus the guys showing up sounds a little bit less tasty, you don't have to go for the devil's bargain. You haven't rolled it, so you're not stuck with it. But the reinforcements will show up with you in a desperate position or coming off a desperate position.
I'm feeling my appropriate. I'm kind of pissed. They hit me on the head, and I like to know why I'm hit on the head, and so if I wait another 2 minutes, we might not have anybody alive for me to find out more about. So that's my desperate. My desperate is that monster's going to come and take away all of my people who know something.
I need answers before one of you guys start bonking people on the head.
I will have a limited amount of time to question you guys before you're dead. So please tell me your answers.
All right.
Desperate great with a 5.
Desperate great, rolling 5 dice. Hit it.
+3.
What could go wrong?
Oh
my God! Oh my God!
I blame you. You said it. What could go wrong?
I mean, wow. That's spectacular. Does that
roll today?
So instead of calling for assistance, they're calling to say they're going to have to kill the prisoners before they get rescued.
Okay. All right. Okay. Pondering all these things.
I just feel like this is that one scene where it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna go get these guys, hold on. And then it's like horror movie trope where it's like all of a sudden you hear screaming as he runs down the hall. And then a few moments later, Monster just shows up and is like, I've come to save you. They're all dead.
Quick, let's go hide in the garage full of chainsaws.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
I am so glad that I provide you such a wealth of opportunity for story, Joyce.
I mean, I'm a little. I feel like I'm over wealthy at this point. All right. Okay. So, because we're desperate and we went badly downhill, reinforcements are coming. All right. So, you're trying to talk to the guy and get something out of him, and he's talking. It's like, I don't know. The lieutenant said it was important and something that the guy was, and he's like listening. He's not really even half paying attention to himself, and he's definitely on edge, and you're trying to like keep his attention and talk to him and get your answers, and didn't even think about that. Probably wouldn't have. Anyway, it doesn't matter at this point in time. And he like cracks open the door and leans his head out. Is like, "What's going on out?" And you're without even really. You're just because he's wandering away from the conversation you're trying to get him to have. So you take like a step forward. He catches the movement out of the corner of his eye as he's like turned away to like call for these guys, and he says, "Oh shit, the prisoners!" And he shoots just kind of wildly into the room. And the "oh shit, the prisoners," you hear the guys are like, "What?" And there's guys like pounding down the hallway. He's firing wildly. You're trying to dive out of the way. The bolt grazes you, one of the bolts grazes you as you're kind of diving out of the way, going, wait. Now you have a thing here. It would be a 2 harm from getting shot by his little hand weapon, but you have tenacious.
I do.
Which drops at a level.
Which I took last time, so that's a good.
So this is we'll go blaster graze for your other slot of low stuff. I forgot the less effect thing on the lump on the head, but that really is not an issue at this particular point. Now, if the as far as moving the clock goes, it has to at least succeed to move anything on the clock. Is that correct? I think that's correct.
I don't know. I'm not no clocks.
I'm pretty sure that. Yeah, I don't. You know, I'm pretty sure that's the thing. So
I don't get a sympathy tick.
No, you don't get a sympathy tick. You get XP for rolling desperate. Look at you. You still get the XP for rolling desperate. So hooray! Did you tick that? You should tick that on your plate.
We'll tick that.
Yeah, by all means tick that. There's your sympathy tick. Okay, so he's like, oh shit. So you're diving back behind like the one desk. Frim slumps to the ground, clutching his shoulder or his chest. It's kind of hard to tell with his rags. And he's like,
I didn't know Frim was in the room.
Oh yeah, you both are. He's just kind of staying out of the way. But yeah, you guys are both in here. And so he's got kind of a shocked expression on his face. Now it's not like he's not like gut shot or something like that, but he's definitely. I was like, this is getting very complicated. And he kind of hits the back wall and sort of slides down. And is like looking at you. It's like, you could rescue me any time now. Whew. I didn't really think that it would be this violent so fast as soon as the word of the key got out. I might have tried to keep my head down as soon as I set the ball rolling. Whew. Is this what shock feels like? I'm getting tingly. Monster.
Okay, I am in the lobby. Drifter has gone roaring past me with his forklift.
And
unfortunately taking away probably all the people in the room.
Flipped the table, as it were. You do hear there's a disappointing amount of blaster fire coming your direction. And by disappointing, I mean not much. Monster's different than other people. But you do hear blaster fire in the building. It's just not where you are. It's elsewhere. So somebody's shooting at somebody, and they're not shooting at you, which seems...
Is it down the direction the forklift went?
It's in that general direction, but it's not at the forklift. It's further, it's definitely further along.
It's beyond the forklift.
It's beyond the forklift. So yeah, there's definitely more hijinks going on.
Look, I gave you a target
in this place. So
I'll draw their fire.
What do you do?
Get my friends to come here.
I just keep thinking of the Knights of the Dinner Table thing where they like the one player who plays the barbarian is gone and they decide to run the barbarian and they realize like what a how many bonuses the barbarian gets if they don't have any armor on and just keep moving at maximum every round. So just annihilates almost all until somebody finally scores like a single hit and
Explain to me why I am at 1 hit point and naked.
Yeah. Just like monsters like must keep moving. All right. So
I guess I will go trotting after
in the wake of the forklift or
in the wake of the forklift, I mean, assuming I don't see,
or is this a bounding Overwatch kind of thing,
Well, yeah, I mean, if I can get,
well, I mean,
actually, you know what? I'm perfectly happy letting the forklift push the reception
so
desk
this thing just kind of like
and occupants down the corridor
so
like a giant
there's
a
like
giant,
there's like little there's like landscaping along here and some
snowplow.
inappropriate plants and stuff planted along in here at various places. So it's kind of, you're kind of like in some. So you're getting like, as the forklift is pushing along here, you're hearing the blaster noise like down a side hall. As it passes by. And you can call attention to that, grab everybody's like, they're this way, and or just head off, or I think actually, situation being what it is, I'm going to say if you really want to know which way to go, given all the different corridors, floors, partitions, all this kind of stuff, I think this is a study roll.
Oh, I'm not thinking it's a good idea.
I mean, I don't know that.
How about a smell roll? Can he do a smell roll instead? He's
sure?
really good at smell.
You're sure there is no one I can like grab and try to intimidate to say, where are prisoners?
Oh, you can probably do that. Sure.
Oh, then that is
They aren't all
absolutely
dead.
That is absolutely what I want to be doing. Maybe someone who managed to like, push themselves from the side of the reception desk and is lying there on the ground.
Yeah. I don't understand. Yeah, so you're like looking around trying to figure out where the blaster's thing, and the forklift is it's pushing, and the beeping of the the deal, and the crunching of the wood, and the crunching of the the occasional Wilhelm scream. And you're just like, I can't make heads or tails of any of this. You there? We're prisoners. Command?
Yep. Oh, command, and just FYI with Scary.
Scary?
I gain potency when trying to intimidate someone. If done immediately after a show of force, also take 1 die.
I didn't see that you had Scary. I hadn't scrolled down far enough. You have an air of menace and danger, obvious to even the most unobservant. I like how that's written. All right, so the potency conveniently negates the advantage these guys have, which is nice. I think we're risky standard, but you get the extra dice. So command with an extra dice gives you because there's definitely a show of force there, gets you up to 3 dice right off the bat. You still have a pile of gambits because Kei didn't actually burn one off, did she? They. Right? Because
no,
rolling the dice.
They don't.
Yeah. Wait, do you have to succeed to get the gambit back? No, how does that work? We had this discussion last time. Do you have to like
basically nope. You will also generate gambits on different rolls.
Right. And then the rest of it was
you will also generate gambits even if you don't spend a gambit.
Right. Or even if you do spend a gambit. But don't you have to get a success to get a gambit back? Is that the deal? I can't remember how that. We're not going to have this discussion again. We're not going to have this discussion again. Doesn't matter. There's still at least 2 gambits left. So if you're inclined, monster, you can certainly throw a gambit dice at it to get up to get up to 4 dice, or you can roll your 3. Up to you.
Where are we on the clock?
You are 3 pips away. You're on standard, so with a normal success, that would get you 2 pips out of the 3 that you need.
I will go ahead and spend a gambit to add a die.
Okay, that has you rolling then 4. On your. We're prisoners.
Let me take one more look here at something. Because I think we're late enough game in this that I'm going to push myself on this.
Okay. Oh, you really want to nail this, don't you?
All
right, so push for 2. 2 stress gets you up to a meaty 5 dice on your intimidation roll. And
how many 2s can I roll?
Don't say it, Joyce. Don't say it.
I mean,
don't say it.
I don't intentionally. I don't intentionally jinx you guys.
So I'm sorry. You said it was a risky.
Before he says anything.
Risky standard.
Risky
The
standard.
risk, and I should make sure that I make a point of saying this, but the risk would in this case be, um, hmm, hmm. I think I probably throw another. I think there's probably reinforcements coming, kind of thing like that. Like the guy cons you and you know leads you astray. Not necessarily not getting you where you need to go, because you could get like a 4 or 5 kind of a thing. But on the kind of the 4 or 5 result is, gets you in the general direction, but sets you far off enough to the side that you've got probably another clock worth of not a 10 clock obviously, but another clock worth of like resistance and gunmen and stuff like that to wade through to get where you're going, as opposed to something that's nice and tidy and much less painful. So there's your risk there, is you're going to end up with like more guys coming down and getting in your way, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right.
So it's a total of 3 bonus dice with my 2 in command.
Correct.
Survey says.
That was a lot. I mean, still a lot of low numbers. Thank God for that last one that you decided to get in there by pushing yourself, because if you hadn't pushed yourself,
I feel that Roll20 needs to delay like the 5s and 4s and 6s about a second or so.
I don't know
just
how
for drama.
I don't know how this particular one is coded, but I mean, and maybe I'm the only one this happens for, but those commas come in immediately, and the numbers take like 5, maybe 6 seconds to come in. So it's like, well, the numbers have been rolled. I have no idea what's about to happen. Okay.
It's just messing with us. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so what am I gonna do here? I'm gonna take this guy here, and I'm gonna copy him, and I'm gonna paste him, and I'm gonna drag him right up here, and we're gonna call this
Boy.
Up the down staircase.
So you did get, so that's a mixed result on a standard, moves the clock how many? 2? 1? 2? Standard moves it 2. Right, standard moves it 2. Advance, multi-sided, choose a side. Tick, tick. So close! So close! Okay, so your son, he's like grabbing this guy, which way to the prisoners, and he's like, you just go down this way, and you got to go down all the way to the end of the hallway, and then take the lift or the emergency stairs up one. They're like in a back area there. I don't really know, but I saw where they came in, and they said they were going to head back that way. It's once you get up on the second level, it'll be, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Which is way more talking than Monster was really looking for, so he kind of like tosses him aside in frustration and heads that general direction. What do you do? And Drifter, what do you? You're kind of in the central area here. Are you going with? Are you holding this location?
No, I don't do hold locations very well, so I'm going along.
I don't stand still well. I move really well. Okay, so leaving the forklift where it sits. Son, what are you doing at this point?
Well, I would like to go with in case there are any injuries, but I'm not sure I want to just leave the area where we are just causing havoc unattended. On the other hand, Monster is also the safest place to be.
He's both the safest and the most dangerous.
It depends on what I roll.
He draws the fire, though.
Which makes him the safest and the most dangerous place to be, as a general rule. Okay, so we're going. Okay, so I'm gonna check back here with K. Well, actually, no. You on the other where Monster kind of got you going in the same general direction. You might be able to kind of maybe zero in. I mentioned study before as a way of like, taking in the data and kind of figuring out where you need to go. That might be something that you could do in this. Like, no, I can hear them. Like they're just, this is, that kind of a thing. Or, I hear people coming, that kind of deal. Or are you just basically keeping your head down and keep
You
moving
hear
kind of?
Kay saying, "Doc."
Yeah, I'll not just blindly run around. I'll keep an eye out
Okay,
on stuff.
why don't you? Okay, so I'm gonna have
Looking
you
for signs saying this way to the prisoner.
this way to the prisoners. All right, in that case,
Name's your cat.
so you got that's a good. So you could do study as you're kind of working your way back through this thing. It gives you one die roll. You could do the I'm a doctor, not a forward recon, and you push yourself, take 2 stress, and roll doctor instead. If you're so inclined. Although functionally, mechanically, at this point, that's the same as just pushing your study. Matters more when you're using doctor instead of like, I'm a doctor, not a computer hacker or whatever, because then you have no skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, I'll push myself and get the extra die.
Okay. All right. And okay. So that gives you the 2 dice. This is mostly like kind of navigating to get you where you need to go, and or are you more concerned with avoiding incoming badness, or getting I'm kind of looking at which clock you're trying to close out here, the Breaking Bad one, which is like avoiding more incoming badness, or dealing with the Rescue K thing? Like, not that way. There's guys coming from that direction, kind of thing, where you're like can kind of bypass, some reinforcements coming in, or
the focus is more on getting to K because
okay, cool.
once there'll probably be guys there, and that's a monster problem.
That's a monster problem. Okay.
It's good to have a reputation.
Okay, so risky it would be risky standard. It's risky limited because they, have that sort of level advantage on you guys. You're rolling 2 dice.
Wait, risky standard or risky limited?
It's risky limited because they push it down a level. It starts out risky standard and they push it down from standard to limited, just because of they're like a level 1, you're a level 0 kind of deal. You guys are trying to get where you're needing to go. You're rolling your study plus the 1, so that gives you 2. Does anybody want to assist with the navigation to, getting you to? Anybody want to assist?
I'll assist.
How are you going to assist? I'm very curious about this. I'm
watching the cams, and I have a comm.
Oh, are you kidding me? You're. Oh, that's fantastic. So on your comms, it's like, hey guys, you want to avoid. Oh, that's so good.
I mean,
makes perfect sense.
How
I hate him.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden It's just like, no, not that hallway. Yeah, the one to the left. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. No, there's
How do
definitely.
you know?
Trust me, there's
I'm
nobody
watching the cameras.
watching the security cameras.
I'm going
Also,
to
we
dose
have-
him up
And
for a
and you
week.
and you hear in the background. Did you say it was? Were you giving were you giving 2-1 on the big guy? Oh, come on, 2-1, 3-5 at best. You know. So yeah, not only is he giving directions from a distance while watching security feeds, he's taking bets with whoever happens to be there.
Yep, Monster, make sure you open the door on corridor 5. Why? Is that where Kay is? No, that's where Gregor is. I've got like $50 running on the fight with him.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right. So, did you already take your stress for assist?
I did.
Okay, so that's 3 dice.
I have to jump in here though.
Yes.
If Drifter's on comms as well and hearing this,
Yes.
Armin, are you hurting our odds?
I don't know. Do people realize that you're doing this? Like with the
I feel like
skulk? I mean,
yes, I will.
Meanwhile, I think we've lost the point. We've everybody but Monster has totally lost the whole point of what we were trying to do, including myself.
Oh my
I
god!
think I should get an extra bonus dice for that.
He just rolls a straight up skulk. Just straight up skulk, gets a 6.
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's totally doing it on the down low. So, in addition to all of this, how every time Armin phrases this thing, he's phrasing it as sort of an observation to the other people in the room. He just randomly opens mic. So it's like, no, I mean, if they manage to turn down the next corridor on the left, it's going to be completely easy for them. But what are the odds of that? And then the mic goes dead. Armin, are you on anything? Armin, are you? Where are you? No, I can take bets all day, gentlemen. I'm happy to watch the action right here with the rest of you. Yes, they're my shipmates, but I am impartial. Mike goes dead for a second. No, seriously, what are the odds that they're going to know that the reinforcements are coming from the right? These guys are being completely. I mean, these are very well trained.
You guys put in a security checkpoint down the blue corridor. That was really clever.
Yeah, it's unlikely that they're going to spot that. Yeah, so all the conversations are just him talking, which, while clever, is also like
annoying.
Just that extra notch of rage inducing. Lovely job on the 6. That's so good.
Does it help any of our clocks, or does it just help him?
I think I get an extra die for that.
Well, I mean, he is assisting you. That does give you the extra die. But I tell you what I will do. I can't do... Well, that doesn't help. I can't undo the... Yeah, you know what? I'll actually just... We'll just... No, I can't... I don't... Let me think about that. Because it's a lovely 6. I just don't know what to do with it. It should help the clocks.
Well,
actually, that makes perfect sense here. I'm going to advance the breaking bad a little bit because you guys are legitimately bypassing the reinforcements, with Armin's little skulk roll here because he's helping you sneak.
Yep.
That is
makes
legitimately
sense.
what he's doing. Meanwhile,
Do I get to roll?
The doc actually gets to roll too. So yeah, that's 3. I believe we're at 3 dice. Unless you want to drop the last gambit on it. But a 5 will get you where you need to be anyway. And you're focusing on getting to K, which is not a problem when you only have to go 1 pip on a 5. Okay, so getting to K definitely handled. The difficulty, the last really final difficulty there is that it's got to be it's dead ahead kind of thing. But the guys that Kei's guard had hollered for have kind of set up a barricade in the last little like sort of room, the antechamber outside of the office where they were at, the call it the reception area or whatever. So you guys are coming around the corner in the hallway, and it's like withering blaster fire. With that 5. So though you're kind of leading behind Monster, so I would say the shots are actually going to land on Monster from your mixed success. Again, it's hand weapons, Monster. So
it's a good thing I've got armor.
It's a good thing you've got armor.
It's a good thing I thought to bring an armor during all this.
Yes. So you can use up some of your stuff. Check off your armor, and then you just tick the armor thing, and that automatically moves. So it would be a level 2 harm. With the armor, I believe armor would move it down. Is it 1 notch or 2? I feel like it's 2.
Does it soak it?
Yeah. It kind of depends on.
Armor moves it down however much you decide it does.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really kind of a matter of setting the tone of the game. And I'm gonna have it partly because it's Monster. But yeah, I'm gonna have the armor just kind of move this. So it's kind of like I've been watching a lot of. I'm trying to get through the 2nd season of Luke Cage, and I'm constantly amused by the fact that like his default response when he's working with anybody and somebody walks around the corner with like automatic weapons is he grabs his nearest friends and basically cuddles with them until the guns.
Yep.
It's like, ugh. So yeah, you just kind of turn around and hunker your head down and just let the bullets spang off your back. Any comments to Drifter and Doc and Sun behind you as you're like kind of like letting the blaster shots like bounce off the armor before you turn around and
it tickles. Classic Superman comment.
I feel like Drifter hasn't done anything yet, or it's come around to sort of where it would be his turn. So Drifter, what do you do? As he's like, it tickles and the blaster or the blaster bolts are like spanging off the back of his armor.
Well, we're not here to kill anybody, right?
Not as such. I mean, it may accidentally happen, but that's not.
Okay. Can we go for some disarming shots?
Sure. Absolutely. You want to be all fancy. Okay. So yeah, you got scrap. So you're going to like basically shoot the weapons.
Yeah.
Oh, you dirty little. You have sharp eyes and know small details many might overlook. Gain an extra dice when firing ship guns or making trick shots.
Yep, and I'm going to push myself for that as well.
Of course. All right, so that's 2 for the scrap, an extra dice for the trick shots. Push yourself for an extra dice, that gets you up to 4. We have one less gambit if you're so inclined to really go crazy.
I feel that's going to need more use later, but I'm assuming this is risky standard, so I'll go ahead with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Go with that. Bloop. 5/5. The poor man's crit. And that moves it. Does that move it? That's 2, isn't it, for a risky standard? Okay. All right. Choose sign.
Which should take care of the rest of the guards.
Should take care of the rest of the guards. Yeah. I will though. I mean, since we're kind of on a. I mean, obviously gunfire is happening. You're leaning out here to get the shots and stuff like that. There is return fire happening. probably the same kind of level, like a level 2 harm, blaster fire coming in. Do you want to resist that? Do you suddenly manifest armor? Resistance would, I'm going to say armor probably pushes it down. The resistance, armor probably push it down 2. Resistance will probably push it down 1 if you want to resist, rather than having the armor. It's up to you. Or you can let yourself have a level 2 harm and give the doc something to do. Although the doc will be plenty busy with Kei. I'm having the
not me, but Frim.
I'm having the harm be the consequence of the mixed success on the shot. If that's not clear, is that
cool? I got that part.
Okay, yeah.
I'm looking at like the 3 stress I have left. So.
Oh yeah. Well, you can always. I mean, I don't know how. Where did you check off your gear? Where did you put your gear at?
I think basically it's going to be blaster pistol and second blaster pistol at this.
So that gives you the 2 there, and you went heavy, so you've still got the ability to check off armor if you're so inclined.
Yeah, I'll do that. Okay.
All right. So you check the armor. So it's not a perfect trick shot. The first one is, pretty good one, and you kind of, a little kind of a cocky smile, you step out there and you go to shoot the next one. The guy like kind of rolls to the side and shoots you, shoots you back and like, oh crap. And you like look down, it's like, whew. And then the second shot this time,
yeah, I'm going to have to resist that, I guess. Okay.
Yeah. Which is the armor, you check the armor basically off to do the resist. Which will push it down to, was the nasty bruises? I like that. Okay, so those are the clocks filled. So I'm fine with the narration up to this point because there's a lot of so cutting back to Armin's room, there's a lot of like guys like, they got to the thing and money is changing hands, various things like
I feel like there's that certain thing where there's like that one scene where somebody like frustratedly throws like a whole bunch of paper in the air. Except it's like digital pads.
You guys kind of you pop the door open. Kei's in there kind of helping this other Spider-Man's dragging the corpse of a homeless man along behind this train. But this apparently shoulder shot homeless guy, helping him, limp towards the exit. The rest. Yes. It's very good to meet all you. Perhaps under better, and he kind of like his eyes roll back on his head and he sort of swoons.
It's probably for the best.
Probably for the best. Otherwise, he'd be talking.
Is one of your captors?
Oh, this is the crazy guy we need to talk to.
Said as though you all know that there's a crazy guy that you need to talk to.
Hey, I was broadcasting. They heard it.
Okay, so, I said, the idea is to make a big wake that you can walk out through. The building, were it a living thing, would be currently experiencing some sort of like catastrophic shock. So extracting yourself out back through this, it's a mixture of nobody around where you went in, call it the entrance wound, is able to put up a resistance. Some of the people on the fringe of that don't want to, and there's too much confusion further out to get a sense of, they're just not able to muster any kind of a response as you are basically like extracting yourself.
Why do I feel like that scene from Ghostbusters where they're coming out from their really messy capture of the ghost in the ballroom?
Yeah.
Like swaggering out, looking like totally disreputable.
More importantly, do you take the forklift with you?
Of course, it's on loan.
Beep.
No,
I love the idea that like it's like beep beep beep.
Backing
This
down
is
the
backing out
corridor.
through the down through the entranceway and out through the glass. Beep beep beep.
Yeah, for about 5 seconds until Monster smacks the.
Yeah.
the-
Was
Beep,
damaged in
beep.
attack.
Hey, that's our deposit.
and it just has a little blue light rolling on it, you know.
Just it doesn't damage the actual like alert light or anything like that. It just grabs the speaker and yanks that off. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we want to make it so that when the authorities show up, there are some problems for these folks, or would that put us on
Authorities.
What's
bad
that?
term?
In other words, are we planting evidence
planting
as
drugs?
we leave?
I mean, these guys are. I mean, the wreckers
The
are.
authorities?
Yeah, well, the wreckers are definitely along. I mean, and it do no harm. You know, what do with that will shall be the whole of the law is kind of a thing.
Box of contaminated bananas that might, you know, infect the food processing system.
I mean, most of this has been watched. It's been clear as to what's going on. The other big sort of authorities in the thing have been watching this whole thing, thanks to Armin. So
And in the skybox.
yeah, they know
I've
that.
been watching you guys on pay-per-view with these guys.
Yeah, I mean they know what happened. They're not going to get any trouble for it, but you know they're not going to be able to like really BS about what happened either.
You're
See.
no fun.
And apparently no one's like wanting to meet us on the, you know, as we emerge.
No, the wreckers are. I mean,
Walk.
Armin left things in such a way that the wreckers are certainly feeling more positively toward you. Or at least they're not angry anymore because you provided some good entertainment. Now, these guys might not love you very much, but again, they're subsumed within the larger wreckers, so there's only so much they can get away with as far as any of that goes. So.
Well, and you know, it was not at orders. It was a sergeant being ambitious. So
Yeah.
those higher up have plausible deniability.
Exactly. They can always claim as like, no, he just trust me, he's going to be
No idea what they were thinking.
He's going to be scrubbing the bottoms of garbage scows for the foreseeable future. So they can always claim a I guess he a culpa. Him, not me. Anyway.
So.
And nobody generated any extra heat. So this guy. Well, wait a second. We need to look at the whole.
Not planting anything? That's sad.
Well, I mean,
Next job.
There's not a lot you could plant that would actually get you in trouble with the wreckers. They are criminals by definition. I mean, they smuggle rather by definition. So until you get into like human trafficking, you're not going to get them in a lot of trouble.
Fine.
It might cause a little. Oh, so let's. Okay. So yeah, you guys are actually able to get back without really too many problems. There's.
So just leave some baby aspirin behind and make everybody wonder.
Armin, there's certainly glares from those that aren't, shaking hands and patting on the back. There's definitely some people within this larger group that aren't super thrilled with all this, but they have to be. They're definitely staying out of it at this point as far as, raising any trouble or anything like that because, things really tipped your way as far as that goes.
As they should.
We should do this more often.
I feel like that is what Armin says whenever he leaves. It's just like, well, guys, it was nice saying, we should do this more often.
All right.
Except for Bay, who is like...
Probably a nice wink towards one of the guys who doesn't like us.
Yeah. So we're gonna roll through. We're gonna roll through at least the some parts of downtime as you guys are coming back to the ship and Armin shows back up. I was wondering how this was going to actually work, and it works out very quite well. So it's a minor job, enough to make it the next week. The payment comes in the form of the bets that Armin won. So the crew gets paid 2 cred, sort of, by virtue of Armin turning you guys into a pay-per-view event. That work for everybody?
I'm not sure that anyone here would actually object to that at all. So
Yeah.
We got paid to break our friend out of jail. I feel that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh,
I didn't figure out why they wanted us.
no, you didn't.
Maybe Crazy Uncle Frim can help out.
Possibly. Absolutely. Certainly can
He
make it.
appears to think that he set this all off to start with.
There is a lot to there's a lot to dig into there. Upkeep. I feel like this is still going to be upkeep, but more in the sort of like
Paying off our
birthing
rent.
costs, things like that, the rent. But
Well, I
it's
was gonna say renting the hauler and then getting it back slightly broken.
yeah, stuff like that. So that's it's still just 1 cred though, so I think that is fine. We'll check that off. Outcomes, we don't need to worry about any of that. Heat. After a job or conflict with an opponent, your crew takes heat according to how the job played out. I mean,
Heat's a nebulous phrase. I mean, really, it's just like a whole bunch of people now talking about, oh man, do you hear how dangerous these guys are? Or
yeah, I mean,
there's probably going to be bootleg tapes of us out there
That's-
now.
That's reputation as much as.
Yeah, which will generate XP, but like I said, there's still some people who aren't super happy with you. I'm just trying to look at what the job is, and I have problems with things like completely quiet or smooth and quiet. It was smooth. It was not quiet. It was contained. I feel like 2 heat, mostly because of just that kind of level of damage was associated with you. You've got an angry group that doesn't think very highly of you, some other people that they have allies with, and sort of like you say, there's tape circulating of you guys with your faces and stuff.
I think the other side of it is just because of what happened and it was so public, it might get other people asking questions as to why they would want me.
Yeah. So there's just a lot. It raises questions. It brings your faces to the forefront of certain people's minds, so to speak. Is it heat in the sense of the laws coming down on you? No. Is it heat in the sense of sometimes it's not good to be well known?
Unwanted attention.
Unwanted attention. That is a fine way of saying it. So we'll tick the Ren clock up a notch or 2. I don't see it. There's no other stuff for the high profile, well connected targets, any of that kind of stuff. I'm not doing any of that. So it's just tick tick. Little too famous in the Ren system right now, but that's fine. Certainly. We're not wanted. And I never want to do entanglements just yet, but let's see what we got there. I'll just go to the ship real quick and I'll give me something to look at. Roll a fortune. Rolling 1 dice. Bloop. 5. Cooperation. What's your status with these guys? Is it a +2? It's not quite a +2 with you. Although this is going to count as a mission towards them. Where is...
we're status 2 with the Wreckers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
One of the people we want to be nice to.
Yeah. Wreckers is status 2. That counts as another job just in terms of them.
Oh, tick them up.
I just ticked them. They're at 2.
Oh,
2 job. I just ticked them up to 2 jobs because you did the ship job with them too. So you got to do 3 to get to 3, right?
From 2 to 3 is 3 jobs.
That's what I thought. Okay, so So yeah, your status is 2. So cooperation, your faction, a faction you have a +2 or +3 status with, ask you for a favor. Agree to it or lose status with them. If you don't have a +2 or +3 faction status, you avoid entanglements right now. I think it would be crazy if it weren't the Wreckers, but I'm going to sit on that for. I don't think there's anybody else that is a 2 with you guys.
There is.
We're making money off the tape. They want in.
Yeah, or because you can clearly handle yourself in certain kinds of situations. But somebody will be reaching out to you for a favor thing. Somebody in the Wreckers is going to be reaching out to you next time for that. So that's what their entanglements are. And it's 10:30. So we're going to kick off with, if it's all right with everybody, we're going to kick off with downtime next time and kind of deal with all the wounds and injuries and bleeding and Crazy Frim and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
For me,
Otherwise, things get quite late quite quickly.
And then
James
we'll have,
has a lot of work to do because it's finals coming up.
we'll have all next week to talk about what we want our ship upgrade to be.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, so starting with the ship, because I'm pretty sure we just got some XP. At the end of a session, reach item below mark XP. Execute a successful transport or smuggling operation? No. Contend with challenges above your current station? Yes. Bolster your crew's reputation, develop a new one? I'm going to clear this. Definitely bolster the reputation. So you got a wrap around here. I'm going to say, let's go.
Yeah.
We'll just make a note. Ship
Dave,
needs
make a note in your
an upgrade.
log.
I'm putting it on the ship note field too.
I'm sorry, I missed. What am I taking note of?
Ship needs an upgrade. You have a playbook advancement on the ship.
Got it.
Might be time to get yourselves up to level 1 if there's a way to do that.
It's going to cost us 4 credit.
Yikes. And you only have 3 right now.
Getting cred is not the problem.
Nope. Contend with challenges at current station, bolster your crew's reputation to that. Express goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. Yes. I think it is notable that you guys have been like smuggle, move stuff, grab things, retrieve. Oh, wait, somebody grabbed one of our people. We are going to shoot everybody and crash through the building, tear holes in things.
And walk away with the people in charge thanking us for the privilege.
Which I gotta hand it to. I mean, that is the most Armin that ever Armin and Armin. That is some fine. That was some fine.
We definitely got to see full monster, which was great too.
Full monster and full Armin. That was some. I mean, everybody got some.
You would be challenged to say, imagine a mission where Armin and Monster both can go fully at it. And I have to give credit. Armin definitely did his thing.
Yep. It's
very cool.
It's quite a thing. Speaking of Armin, we will look at every time you roll a desperate action. We did not do that. You addressed a tough challenge with deception or influence.
I'd say both.
I think sure. Yes, both. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I don't know. I mean, I don't
Do we
know.
see more of the inner Armin-ness?
I think we saw classic Armin-ness. I don't think that we got into, other than his belief that he should not be somebody that gets shot at, which I don't know if that's necessarily counts as a belief. I believe that I should not be shot at when shooting happens.
He believes it strongly.
I mean, we saw my drive to make sure that, everything worked out for the crew in the best way possible.
Sure.
Without you getting shot at.
Without me getting shot at, because that's also very important.
If you're inclined to tick that box, then you were very Armin-like, so by all means.
I am, although you're not going to like my advance.
I'm not?
No.
Okay.
Because you're on my sheet right now, right?
I can be. I was. Now I am again.
All right.
Which one are you checking?
The one that just went blue.
Aw, man. You always know when someone is lying to you.
Is
See, you think that's a good thing to have. All right. I love it. All right, Bay. Let's see. Every time you roll a desperate action, you already did that. You addressed a tough challenge with charm or audacity. You addressed it.
did. I didn't succeed, but I don't think that's the point.
No, you addressed it. I give you
addressed
one.
it.
Yeah, the thing is, when the choice, and I go for the beliefs because when it came down to, like, do I escape or do I find out more about why they think that I'm interesting? I go with finding out more things about being interesting. You did not struggle with vice or trauma, but you are ticking up some boxes there, so yay for that.
I got to use my new
Your
tenacious.
I have to tell you, my daughter has picked up. She's playing a protege in the Masks game, and a couple of advances back, after she had two, and Margie, I think you will appreciate this. She had two situations where one, she had like taken like a 10 on like her take a powerful blow or something like that, and she was like taken out. And there was some other result that basically kept her out of the fight. You're micing up. So she went with the we had talked about a few different things, and we had just seen Spider-Man Homecoming again, and I was like, you need I can do this all day. Which is this ability that lets you shift your savior down to get back up. So basically, when you roll those 10s on the take a powerful blow, you can just go right for, I'm taken out. No, I'm not. Very cool in theory, but of course, like all advances, when you pick something very specific like that, it's one of those things where you pick it and then it seems like it never comes up again, right?
First, yeah.
This last session, it came up 3 times in succession.
Yeah.
Yeah, managed to drive her savior from like a 1 down to a -2, but by God, she was not going down, and she was fighting her mentor's nemesis and ex-boyfriend. Very important
the
that
best nemesis.
Yes, and was very adamant that she was not going down and stuff like that. So yeah, she can certainly appreciate those tenacious. The tenacious kind of benefits that keep you standing despite what's going on. All right, so the desperate action, we already did that. You addressed the challenge was. Oh wait, so
did you click me?
I got you all clicked. I'm looking at Drifter now. You addressed the tough challenge with speed or flair. Yes. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Charge on through. Don't hurt anybody too badly. And
I like that. Yeah.
I'm going to ask for issues with my vice, because if Armin's assistance was weakening our odds, Drifter would have legitimately changed course.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with, I'm fine with that. I'm actually going to do the 2 with the speed or flare, because you did the 1 speed thing on the deal, but the flare, you also were doing like the, snapshot, the trick shots.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Man, you should, by all means. Monster. You already checked the desperate action.
Yep.
You addressed.
I think I responded to tough challenges with force and threats.
Yes, that would be 2. So you're wrapped back around to 1.
Yeah, not necessarily successful, but
No,
actually, I was successful in aside from the initial roll, the initial forklift roll,
which was not actually
the one where you tried to intimidate the guy and
he still got to
send you to the basement.
He still got a mixed success. It just wasn't like it was like 3, 2, 1, 3, 3, 5. But it wasn't a row of 6s like that one. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. Yes, because turrets and
the turret thing. Yeah.
So there you go. So you have an advance. You have a playbook advance that you can.
Yep, I do.
Do stuff with. Make a note there or do whatever. dings all around there. And let's look at our erstwhile Stitch. You addressed a tough challenge with insight. I will study and get us through this. You express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I believe that Armin is an opportunistic. No.
I think the whole really wanting to plant drugs on these guys was really telling of you.
I was thinking more the background with like the weapon.
Oh yeah,
gun.
with the gun and how that can use, and yes, absolutely. So yeah, we'll take a tick from that. Alrighty.
Did you tick me? Or?
I ticked you twice. So you are
Okay.
you may consider yourself ticked.
Okay.
And ticked and tacked. All right. And that is all she wrote. Genre recommendation, since we have Star Wars in our background here. I'm just going to throw this one out here. Randomly, my wife was like, we were trying to think of something to watch last night or something like that. I don't know why we didn't watch all the other stuff that we've already got halfway through. But it wasn't yesterday. It was May the 4th, and she's like, we should watch some of Star Wars. And I'm like, okay, sure. And it depends on whether or not you have access to the Disney Channel, I think. But the Disney Channel, which we have on streaming, there is a new Star Wars thing that Dave Filoni is doing called Resistance.
Resistance. Yep.
And if you have the opportunity, it's a different kind of sort of cell shaded almost. It's not Borderlands 2, but it does that kind of the animation is definitely that kind of cell shading kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's set in the Resistance era, so BB-8, Poe. They actually got Oscar in to like do Poe's voice for the first episode. And it's a lovely like all of his stories that this guy comes up with is an absolutely gameable setup, which is I'm a member of the Republic. I run into somebody from the Resistance who gets me to act as a spy because nobody thinks that, I'm part of the Resistance. And you have to, go to this oil tanker platform on this out-of-the-way planet and figure out if there's spies for the
First Order.
For the First Order on the platform while passing yourself as a mechanic, which you are terrible at. While you long to race in the skies and stuff like that. Some really fun characters and stuff like that. So it's a real hoot. Hard not to steal. There's a lovely scene where they have like a ship race, and the person that he's racing against, he picked like the nice young girl. Her thing is she's really, really good. Everybody who races her explodes, but she's super encouraging.
And so also the daughter of one of the big bads.
Yeah, but it's like she's kicking his ass, but you're doing great, Kaz. You haven't even exploded yet. Like, just like exactly the kind of person you want to get whooped by. So it's a fun little thing. It's a good voice acting, just good stuff. Tons of fun. I wouldn't call it a must-watch kind of deal, but it is definitely enjoyable. And the kids love. We watched it with my wife and stuff, and then the next morning we lined it up for the kids, and they, well, Sean at least did not move until it stopped playing.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
It's fun. I didn't know if you guys had seen it. I had not seen it.
We got through the second season of The Dragon Prince.
Yes.
I have not.
Well, we won't talk about that then.
It's so good. No.
It is really good. Tons of fun. Good stuff.
And just as I'll throw in a genre gaming setting thing. I'm actually kind of about 2/3 of the way through rereading the Great Book of Amber, which is like all the original series and then the series as well. And it's just like I'm reading along and going like, oh man, I really want to do an Amber thing again. because it's like, oh yes, I remember that character. I remember these cool things that happened in this campaign, and then this person did this interesting thing with them, and
I love the setting. That system.
Oh,
I can't do that system, but
nope. I'm cool with that. But anyway,
anyway, good stuff though. Yeah,
Good-
no,
good read,
I
good.
have this. I have the same reaction to that whole thing. Something about that setting. I don't know what it is. Anyway, all right, guys. Thanks very much. Fun. I like this. This is a good little mission. A self-inflicted mission, but a mission nonetheless. Anyway, all right. And Marjorie was right. She probably shouldn't have rolled tonight.
No, but